am Elmore, President and founder of the Proud Black Buddhist World Association, here today to bring you another exciting Black Buddhist lectures. We at the Proud Black Buddhist World Association are not only the Black Buddhist voice in America, we are the Black Buddhist voice in the world, and we are the only Black Buddhist organization in the world that do not have Asian Buddhist masters. When we learned that the Asians educated all Black history, culture, and language from the Buddhist teachings, we educated them out as our teachers. Now, today we're going to bring you an exciting Buddhist lecture. My lecture today is Black Buddhism for Black America by Anthony Elmore Sr. Why do we practice Buddhism? You see, the Buddha said this, quote, "No one can save us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path," unquote. The Buddha also said, "Nothing can harm you as much as your own thoughts unguarded." The Buddha said this, he says, quote, "Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves," unquote. You see, the Buddha also said, what you think, you create. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you become. You see, ladies and gentlemen, we must observe our mind and train our mind. This Gohanzo, now this is the Gohanzo. It's the scroll inside the Gohanzo. And we chant Myoho Renge Kyo, or we observe our minds. That is how we learn to overcome suffering, is that you begin to see yourself. And when you can see yourself, you can change yourself, because the Gohanzo is like a mirror. So, you do not get confused. Another name for Buddhism is adopting a winning strategy. Do not let people confuse you with semantics about true Buddhism. True Buddhism is about seeing your life's mirror. People will scare you and say, "You're a Buddhist. You don't believe in God. You don't believe in Jesus. Oh, you're going to go to hell. Oh, it is so bad." You see, people get hung up on these semantics. See, Buddhism is a skill. Buddhism is a practice. It is a practice to develop your God-like, your higher consciousness. True Buddhism is a way to learn true self. We practice the Buddhist teachings as taught by the 13th century Black Japanese Buddhist sage Nichiren Shoshu. Nichiren Shoshu taught that the highest teachings of the Buddha Shakyamuni was the Lotus Sutra, and the only sutra that we should practice is the Lotus Sutra. Even more important is the fact that the Lotus Sutra teaches us that we gain enlightenment via hearing the Lotus Sutra. If you are interested in learning true Buddhism, we at the Proud Black Buddhist World Association has provided an unprecedented way for you to learn true Buddhism. Most important, Black people got a Black Buddhist voice. The Gosho are letters that Nichiren Shoshu wrote to teach his disciples Buddhism. And there is a Gosho titled The Sacred Teachings of the Buddha's Lifetime. And it reads, quote, "With regard to the word Kyo, profound meaning says, quote, the voice carries the work of the Buddha. And this is called Kyo or Sutra, unquote. What is most important about the Buddhist teachings is the fact that it is the voice that carries the work of the Buddha. True Buddhism is not found in quiet meditation. The essence of Buddhist teachings is the teachings. The teachings are called Kyo or Sutra. If you want to learn true Buddhism, you learn true Buddhism via divorce. Let me talk black and black history. We black people were not only able to make it through the horrors of slavery, Jim Crow, and we still face racism today. It is the black voice in America that created all of the forms of popular music in America, such as blues, jazz, soul, rock and roll, and acid rock. All the forms in American music, which later influenced the world, was created by the voice. When it comes to religion, the black community, it is the black voice of preaching and singing that brings out the black people in America. Now, the way to find your true self is to seek the wisdom of the Buddhas. How do we find the wisdom of the Buddhas? Just Google the question, how do we find the wisdom of the Buddhas? You can travel a lifetime and never find the wisdom of the Buddhas or never find your true self. The absolute best teacher of the Buddha's teachings is the 13th century Black Japanese Buddhist sage, Nichiren Shoshu. Nichiren Shoshu answered this question in his first Go show, titled, quote, On Attaining Buddhahood in This Lifetime. Nichiren writes, quote, The Lotus Sutra is the king of sutras, true and correct in both word and principle. Its words are the ultimate reality, and this reality is the mystic law, Myoho. It's called the mystic law because it reveals the principles of the mutually inclusive relationship of a single moment of life and all phenomena. That is why this sutra is the wisdom of all Buddhas, unquote. It is only the Lotus Sutra that is the wisdom of all Buddhas. Let me put this plain and clear. You can find your true self via the Lotus Sutra that teach you to understand the mutually inclusive relationship of a single moment of life and all phenomena. This concept is the wisdom of all Buddhas. Your life has a mutually inclusive relationship to all phenomena. In the Go Show title, quote, The Teachings, Practice, and Proof, Nichiren writes, quote, Ordinary people like ourselves, at the stage of hearing the name and words of the truth, can expect to attain Buddhahood by relying on the teachings of the Buddha. The words of various teachers are, in themselves, no use at all. The Buddha gave strict counsel against following them with this statement in the Nirvana Sutra, quote, Rely on the law and not upon persons. If you want to use Buddhism to find your true self, rely only on the words of the Buddha, whereas the Buddha teaches rely on the law and not upon persons. See, true Buddhism is a way for black people to find true self. We must first and foremost rely on the law and not persons. Now, the Go Show, the entity of the mystic law reads, quote, The sage practiced with this law as his teacher and attained enlightenment, and therefore he simultaneously obtained both the mystic cause and effect of Buddhahood, becoming the thus come one of perfect enlightenment and fully. The four virtues of the Buddha is true self, purity, eternity, and happiness. See, this is what I want you to do. Please Google the phrase true self, and you will be hard up to find an explanation. Most explanations come from psychology and science journals. While this subject is difficult, what you can learn from the Proud Black Buddhist World Association is the concept of true self. The true self is Myoho Renge Kyo, or understanding the mutual relationship of life and phenomena. This is the wisdom of Buddhas. When we chant Namo Myoho Renge Kyo to the Gohanzo, we expand our vision to a mutual life entity in the universe beyond the realm of space and time. When we view our life from the standpoint of a common mortal, we hold the delusion of a limited life self in the realm of a limited space and time. While I call myself president of the Proud Black Buddhist World Association, such a title is not the vision that I perceive my true self. Such a title is fleeting and limited to this point of time and space and my current existence. See, I see myself as a true citizen of the universe. That is your true self, being a true citizen of the universe. See, the Lotus Sutra explains our individual life as the convergence of the 5 components. That is appearance, perception, conception, volition, and consciousness. This is the result of 10 aspects. They are appearance, nature, entity, power, influence, inherent cause, relationship, latent effect, manifest effect, and consistency from the beginning to the end. Nichiren Shoshu explains this in the Go Show. Now, this is how the Go Show, the true aspect of all phenomena, explains it. Quote, question. The expedient means chapter in the first volume of the Lotus Sutra states, quote, the true aspect of all phenomena can only be understood and shared between Buddhas. This reality consists of appearance, nature, and their consistency from beginning to the end. What does this passage mean? Unquote. Again, answer. It means that all beings and environments of the 10 worlds, from hell, the lowest, to Buddhahood, the highest, are, without exception, manifestations of Myoho Renge Kyo. If there is an environment, living beings are bound to dwell there. A commentary states, quote, living beings in their environments always manifest Myoho Renge Kyo. Another says, quote, the true aspect invariably manifests in all phenomena, and all phenomena invariably manifest the 10 factors. The 10 factors invariably manifest the 10 worlds, and the 10 worlds invariably manifest in life and the environment. Unquote. If you want to see your true self, true Buddhism teaches us that we are the universe and the universe is us. Now, I want you to take the time to watch a quick video by the famed astrophysicist, Dr. Neil deGrasse Tyson.
When you look at the ingredients of the universe, the number 1 ingredient is hydrogen. Next is helium. Next is hydrogen, helium, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen. Those are the top ingredients in the universe. So you say, well, okay, that's kind of cool. Well, and you look at Earth, because we like thinking of ourselves as special. We say, oh, we're special. Well, what are we made of? Well, what's the number 1 sort of molecule in the body? It's water. It's water. Well, what's water made of? H2O, hydrogen and oxygen. Hydrogen and oxygen. In fact, if you rank the elements in the human body, with the exception of helium, which is chemically inert, useless to you for any reason other than just to inhale it and sound like Mickey Mouse, you can't die from helium unless that's all you breathe. Number one in the human body is hydrogen. Matches the universe. Number two is oxygen. Matches the universe. Number three, carbon. Matches the universe. Number four, nitrogen. Matches the universe. And for each of us, the fifth element, other, is the same in both places. Okay? Other. So, we learned in the last 15 years that, of course, not only do we exist in this universe, it is the universe itself that exists within us.
In the Lotus Sutra, it explains life and the universe and happenings of the Buddha. You see, the Buddha lived 100 trillion billion years ago before there was time. Now, they explain this in this Gosho. The Gosho is titled, The Entity of the Mystic Law, and it reads, quote, when the sage was observing the principle and assigning names to all things, he perceived that there is this wonderful single law, Myoho, that simultaneously possessed both cause and effect, Renge, and he named it Myoho Renge, unquote. Now, there's another Gosho called the Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra. Now, Daimoku means the title of the Lotus Sutra. Now, the Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra reads, quote, and though the dust come one Shakyamuni made his advent expressly for the purpose of preaching the Lotus Sutra, he kept the name of that sutra secret and never referred to it for a period of 42 years. It was only when he reached the age of 72 that he began to first intone Myoho Renge Kyo, the Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra, unquote. Now, the Gosho, the Doctrine of the 3,000 Realms reads, quote, if the sutra meant that one could attain Buddhahood through contemplation of the mind alone, then why would it speak of seeing, hearing, reading, reciting? This sutra makes hearing the sole basis of practice. It is the Lotus Sutra that makes hearing the sole basis of practice. You see, we cannot attain Buddhahood through quiet meditation. Now, though black people, or through black people setting up an altar, not nothing this elaborate, but just setting up a little small Buddhist altar and chanting Nam Myoho Renge Kyo to the Gohanzo, they will come to realize that their life is Myoho Renge Kyo, and Myoho Renge Kyo is their life. Although we black people live in the delusion of the world of racism, the Buddhist practice puts us in the realm of enlightenment, or in other words, we find our true self. Now, the Gosho, called the Unanimous Declaration by the Buddhas, reads, quote, to experience to the full the realm of Buddhahood refers to the doctrine of the 10 factors. One comes to fully realize and understand that these 10 factors and 10 worlds are mutually inclusive, that the causes and effects of the 10 worlds and the 10 factors, the 2 types of wisdom, provisional and true, and 2 kinds of realms are contained within one's own life, within everyone's life without exception, and hence one can fully comprehend the Buddha's words, unquote. See, let me put this in a way that you can understand. See, all of that sounds kind of theoretical It may sound like a lot of mumbo jumbo to you, but I want to put this in a way that you can understand. Now, it was Dr. Martin Luther King in 1963 in the letter from a Birmingham jail where he kind of says the same thing that the Buddha says. Now, this is what Dr. King says. He says, now this is the letter from the Birmingham jail in 1963, quote, "In a real sense, all life is interrelated. All men are caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be, and you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality," unquote. See, this is what Dr. King wrote. See, let us deal with our true self or our true enlightened self. We may not have control of our circumstances. However, we do have control of our minds and how we react to phenomena. We have a choice in life. We can go through things, or we can grow through things. We can learn to grow through things via awakening our Buddha nature and true self. Let me put this in a way that you can understand. The Gohanzo reads that all phenomena manifests is true entity. That is the 10 aspects. Now, the Gohanzo title, quote, "The entity of the mystic law" reads, quote, "The mystic principle of the true aspect of reality is like this. The mystic principle of the true reality is one. But if it encounters evil influences, it will manifest delusion. While if it encounters good influences, it will manifest enlightenment. Enlightenment means enlightenment to the essential nature of phenomena, and delusion is ignorance of it," unquote. You see, enlightenment is understanding the essential nature of phenomena, while not understanding this is delusion. The way for black people to find their true selves is to overcome delusion. Nichiren writes in the Gohanzo. Now, this Gohanzo is called "On Attaining Buddhahood in This Lifetime," and it reads, quote, "Nevertheless, even though you chant and believe in Myoho Renge Kyo, if you think the law is outside yourself, you are embracing not the mystic law, but an inferior teaching." Quote, "Inferior teaching means those other than this Lotus Sutra," unquote. You see, most people believe Buddhism is being an Asian on a mountain meditating. Such is not the true Buddhism. Such is only Asian culture. True Buddhism is finding your true self, your life, your community, your dreams for a better world. True Buddhism is developing the wisdom and practice of creating a better world and understanding how phenomena works and acting on the cause and effects to create a happy life. Again, the four virtues of the Buddha are true self, eternity, purity, and happiness. I am Anthony M. Elmore, President and founder of the Proud Black Buddhist World Association, bringing you another Black Buddhist lecture. Thank you very much.